Apprenticeship Week. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Helen Mitchell and I'm the Apprenticeship Manager for Sparsholt College Group, which covers both the Sparsholt campus for land-based provision and also the Andover campus for tertiary provision and also A-levels. Today I have James Clements with me. He's a member of the apprenticeship team and he'll be here to help answer any questions for you today with myself. So the agenda really for now is that we're going to play a quick video just to give you a brief insight into the apprenticeships that we offer here across both campuses and the process in terms of apprenticeships. Then James and I are going to run through our top 3 questions that we're asked generally by parents and students alike. We're then going to play a second video, which was one of our current employers and how his journey from being an apprentice to opening his own business has transitioned. And then we've got sort of 10 to 15 minutes at the end for us to answer any questions directly live online here for you. So during this session, if you would like to detail any questions in through the YouTube chat box, or alternatively through our marketing email, which should be going across your screen now, which is marketing@sparsholt.ac.uk. We'll try and get through as many questions as possible. So with no further ado, I think we'll just start playing the video and we'll start with the questions once it's finished. So we'll play the video now. Hi, my name's Helen Mitchell. I'm the Apprenticeship Manager here at Sparsholt and Andover College. I've worked at the college for a number of years and over time have seen apprenticeships transition quite differently. We deliver a number of different apprenticeships across both campuses, anything from agriculture to horticulture, equine studies to greenkeeping at Sparsholt, and at Andover, hairdressing to electrical to motor vehicle to childcare really. So we deliver lots of different apprenticeship standards in lots of different industries. I have a team of individuals that support our employers and also young people and more mature people in gaining an apprenticeship. So that involves things like recruitment for our employers, getting the right individual for their business, but also working with students to help them find the right business that suits them. The apprenticeship team support the employers and the learners through the entire apprenticeship journey to make sure that they get everything out of the apprenticeship that they expect. Here's the likely information we would provide to our students that are interested in gaining an apprenticeship. Get in and go far with an apprenticeship. An apprenticeship is a real job with real training, meaning you can earn whilst you learn and gain a nationally recognised qualification. As an apprentice, you will work alongside industry experienced staff and gain job-specific skills. Apprenticeships are a great option for young people who want to get into the world of work and for adults that wish to change careers. The quality of apprenticeships are being raised by the introduction of new apprenticeship standards, as these are responding to the needs of employers who know what they want from their employees. The new standards can be best describe the knowledge, skills and behaviours an apprentice will need at the end of their apprenticeship to be capable and qualified in that role for the future. Learning happens throughout the apprenticeship and the apprentice is assessed at the end, proving that they can carry out all aspects of their job. An apprentice will start a career and earn a real wage, gain skills and experience employers are looking for. You will learn at a pace that suits you and will be supported by a dedicated college apprenticeship liaison officer. 90% of apprentices stay in employment, with 7 out of 10 apprentices staying with the same employer, so you'll be setting yourself up for your future. We offer a range of different apprenticeship options across our Sparsholt and Andover campuses. At Sparsholt, we offer apprenticeships such as agriculture, animal management, equine, horticulture, arboriculture, butchery and IT, just to name a few. At our Andover campus, we offer apprenticeships in industries such as hairdressing, childcare, motor vehicle and construction. Apprenticeships are available to anybody over the age of 16 living in England. There are different entry requirements depending on the sector and the job. The college, however, will ensure that all apprentices have sound English and Maths qualifications on completion of their apprenticeship. Being an apprentice means you will be employed in the relevant industry while you learn before you start your apprenticeship. You will need to find employment and you can do this in a number of ways. 1. Speak to our dedicated team who have excellent links with local and national employers. 2. Visit the Find an Apprenticeship website to locate a vacancy in your area. And 3. Contact local companies and see whether they have any apprenticeship opportunities. For more information on how to apply for an apprenticeship, please contact our dedicated apprenticeship team on 0845 850 0916 or email apprenticeships@sparsholt.ac.uk. Thank you. Hopefully that provides you with a little more information about apprenticeships, but if you've got any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact the team at either campus, Sparsholt and Andover. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching that video. So hopefully it gave you a little bit of information about the types of apprenticeships we offer and in the start of the journey for apprenticeships. So James and I wanted to run through the top 3 questions that we generally get asked by parents or open days by students in terms of what apprenticeships are and what they look like. So the main question we get is, when do I apply? Because it's not the same necessarily as our full-time courses here at the college. So James, did you want to sort of talk through the process of application?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of applying, majority of our apprenticeships do start in September. Some of them we do have a roll-on, roll-off program, meaning they will have a flexible start date and can start at different points. Most of our applications are open all year round. So the best time to apply would essentially be now, ready for a September start. If you're set on the apprenticeship you want to go for, if you're looking forward to starting a new career in a new industry, then the best point and best starting point is to apply now for that apprenticeship. If you're still considering what to do and you still think, actually, I know I'm a practical person, I know I enjoy working outside and I love what the college does at Sparsholt in terms of what they offer, then I would say it'd be worthwhile attending our next open day, which is on the 2nd of March. It's on a Saturday, and it basically will allow you to have a look around all the different departments, speak to ourselves, we're there as the apprenticeship team, but also speak to the different departments there to find out about the industries you're looking at going into and looking at entering, because it's a really great way to find out more about specific areas. If you're just interested in starting something within the college and working practically and working outside, then it's a great way for that. But in terms of applying, I would say apply as soon as possible. Once you know what apprenticeship it is you want to apply for. If you want to apply for multiple, that's fine, but you do ultimately need to make a decision dependent on the situation and circumstance around the employers as well.
And I think it's important to say that, you can apply for an apprenticeship without having a job in place. However, you can't actually commence the delivery in the college attendance of an apprenticeship without the employer in place. And as sort of mentioned in the video previously, there's lots of ways of finding an employer. We can help as a team to let individuals know of vacancies that are available. We advertise for current vacancies with our employers, so we can match students to vacancies. But also, it's a lot of apprenticeships come from work experience, summer working, part-time working, where they're already in situ doing the job, and they're looking to take that further. So I think knowing the industries around where you live, the college don't necessarily know every business, so it's worthwhile doing a little bit of that investigation yourself so that we can work as a partnership to secure that job, essentially. The second probably main question is, do I have to do maths and English as part of my apprenticeship? So the government standard is basically that anybody who has an English and maths grade C or above, or in the new grading 4 and above, do not require to do maths and English as part of their apprenticeship. If they've got a grade D and below or 3 and below, then there is a requirement to do maths and English as part of the apprenticeship. You'll probably be pleased to know it's not GCSE, it's actually functional skill. So functional skills aren't necessarily easier, they're just more practically based in terms of the qualifications, so they suit the apprenticeship quite well. And in terms of attending maths and English, that would be part of the college training, the college day. So you wouldn't have to attend college as any additional time. It would be included in your programme of study. So unfortunately, there's no way about getting around it. It is something that's compulsory if a grade 4 or a grade C hasn't previously been achieved as part of school or further college life. And in terms of probably the third most asked question is probably around how do I find a job? Again, I think I've just briefly described that, and it was in the video. But James, was there anything you wanted to add in terms of finding a job?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do ask, we do expect that everyone that does apply to do their own research, have a look in your local area for any job opportunities that are advertising, or anyone that's looking to take someone on. Like you say, we don't know every employer that's out there, and we don't know everyone that could be there. And we might have employers that approach us and have the perfect opportunity and perfect job. But if you've already applied and it's an hour away from yourself and you've just left school, obviously you're not driving yet, how are you going to get there? Let's be feasible and let's be realistic about the job positions. But ultimately, we ask you to do your own research for us, and then of course we can help as part of the apprenticeship team, which we discuss at your interview once you've applied. Opportunities that are in your area or ways and means to look around for them. Equally, you may have employers that have approached us at that point that we can say, okay, we can actually put you in contact with this individual employer. We can put you forward to these roles. So there is numerous different ways to apply and look around for it. Once you're set on the apprenticeship you want to apply for, you want to start, then do apply, do get your application into us, and then start doing your research immediately. Start looking around, start doing your own research, exploring social media for opportunities and everything else as part of it. And then when you come to your interview, you can hopefully come with lots of information to tell us what you've done so far, and then how we can help as well, and hopefully tie up those ends and get a placement organised for you. The way that we do it is that it is advertised on the National Apprenticeship website. Really useful government website. If you just search "find an apprenticeship" in your search engine, then that will pop up as well, and you can put in your keywords that you want to do within there. And it's a really good website for anyone that is actively seeking an apprentice and specific apprenticeships to find that as well.
Yeah, and all of the employer vacancies that we are advertising on our employer's behalf all sit on the Find an Apprenticeship website, but they also sit on our website as well, and we tend to send those out via our social posts as well. So there are ways and means of seeing what vacancies are available if you're definitely interested. And we've had some questions come in already. So there's one surrounding when will the interviews for apprenticeships be arranged? So for September apprenticeships, we do start to interview around Easter, so April time, because we're conscious that young people are still at school and they don't have the time to do the interview. So our interviews do commence in April, and I think the specific interviews that we're being asked about is the arboriculture programme. And you'll be pleased to know James here today is actually the liaison officer that manages those interviews and conducts that process moving forward. So if you haven't already submitted an application form, please do, because that's our way of contact. If you've already submitted an application form, then James should have that already in place, and we'll be processing sort of some interview days and letters out sort of March time, ready for the April Easter.
Yeah, exactly. So we as liaison officers, we manage the applications that come in on a first come first served basis. We'll be interviewing the ones that have applied earliest, which is typically students from October last year, believe it or not, when we had our first open day. So we arranged those interviews first. If it is a school leaver scenario, then hopefully we'll be able to get you in a week during the Easter holidays. But we'll give you a call, we'll give you an email, we'll let you know if you're able to come in at any other time. We don't want to disrupt obviously your GCSEs too much, so we typically interview around that time. If it's not a school leaver and you're more available within sort of typical weekdays and office hours, then yeah, we can arrange your interview as and when needed. But we'll certainly be starting that towards the end of this month, and be hopefully seeing some applications for interviews from March onwards.
Okay, and in terms of where to submit your applications, because I've seen a question come through, and we've got an apprenticeship inbox, so it's apprenticeships@sparsholt.ac.uk. That's our main apprenticeship inbox that all of the team have access to, and is where most of the applications are submitted through. So that's apprenticeships@sparsholt.ac.uk. We've had a question. Sorry, James, did you want to say?
I was just going to say one of the earlier questions mentioning about what additional support does a young person get if they have an EHCP. So I'm pleased to say that providing if you do have an EHCP, you will receive the exact same support as a full-time student will receive as part of the college. So we do have dedicated learning support team that is there on hand to help. Providing your EHCP is still in date and relevant from your school, we will put those same support measures in for your apprenticeship as well. We have numerous apprentices on program already with EHCPs and with specific learning needs that we still cater for, and have those additional arrangements put in place for their assessments, for their exams, for any practical assessments as we need to, but also in the classroom as well. And any other sort of additional points as well. And we also sort of make a point to discuss it with your employer or make them aware of those specific needs if they are, depending on what the nature is, just so they're aware of that situation as well. We discuss all of the interview, and obviously if you're under 18, we're happy to discuss with parents as well on anything we need to be made aware of. And yes, the support is certainly available there.
Yeah, and if the individual isn't already known to the college, then a meeting will take place with the SEN team and the learning support team in terms of the outcome of the EHCP and what the requirements are, and whether we can meet those requirements here at the college. Okay, so let's just go down. We've got some more questions here. Does the session also cover apprenticeships for degree apprenticeships? Yes, so we have just started delivering degree apprenticeships. So we do a degree apprenticeship in accounting. We also do, I can see the question is specifically related to an individual that's undertaken the level 3 in countryside management. So yes, we do the level 4 countryside ranger apprenticeship, which entry requirements is a previous level 3 qualification and or experience in the industry. So that is definitely something that we could speak to the individual parents about. The job roles would include things like senior rangers at country parks. So it's about being able to have that job role within the industry to be able to then do the apprenticeship. And we're also working on our first master's degree apprenticeship, which is in ecology, which kind of follows that route as well. So yeah, feel free to contact us directly for more information on that. Absolutely. That's a program that we started running from September of this year, and it's going really well.
So there's been a few more questions come through. One mentioned about how long are apprenticeships, and can a young person change their apprenticeship if they're unable to manage it due to their special education needs? So majority of apprenticeships it does depend on the level and what the actual course and what they're studying towards, but majority of them are between 18 and 24 months. So they can complete earlier. That is very much down to the apprentice and how they're performing on program and how they're getting on the workplace as well. In terms of changing it due to their needs, it's going to be based on what they're doing in the first place, what they want to change to. Obviously, if they're working in industry, what they're no longer enjoying, or they're wanting to move on, then absolutely. If it's a completely new industry and completely new scenario, then that's absolutely fine. Again, at the interview that we have with them, we'll be discussing everything about their specific needs and learner support needs, going back to the HCP, and arranging that, discussing that with them and with parents as needed, and can hopefully support moving forward. So we mentioned the one about that as well. There's another one that says about her daughter wanting to access a level 3 apprenticeship straight away. So it does again depend on those apprenticeships. So not all our apprenticeships are specific ones for level 2 and level 3. Majority of students that start level 3 tend to have a year or two studying full-time already, or studying another area. And then they sort of progress on and have really good and high GCSEs. That being said, there's nothing to say a school leaver can't do a level 3. It just depends on the what subject they're applying for, what apprenticeship it is for. If it is animal management, then we do offer a keeper and accurist at level 3. But they would need to have good GCSE grades at 5s and above across the board. And obviously they would need to have a placement for that. The zookeeper and accurist one is another one I look after, but it is quite a difficult one in terms of securing an employee, because it is very popular amongst everyone wanting to work in the sector, wanting to work with animals. So the best foot in the door for that is to approach zoos directly. And again, be realistic about where you're wanting to travel to, what opportunities are within your area, and going through that side of it, really.
There's also a new level 3 that's just been released for animal care and welfare manager, which are the type of sort of team leaders within doggy daycare settings and things like that. Again, you can enter straight into that. You don't have to do a level 2 first, depending on GCSE grades, etc. But it's more about getting the role. So rather than having the academic bit behind you for our apprenticeship, so you've got to have the employer before you can commence the apprenticeship programme. I think there's some confusion around I've got some questions about, shouldn't the employer be interviewing? Why are you interviewing? So there's two different things we're talking about here. So one is an employer would interview an individual for the job that they're going to be undertaking. We're interviewing the individual to make sure they're eligible for the programme, for the course. They've got the qualifications they need, they've got the job they need, and all of those things. So there's almost two interviews in that sense, one for the employment position and then one to get onto the course here at the college. I hope that clears that up. There's a question around our apprenticeships only for 16-year-olds, but absolutely not. We have many apprentices that are adult learners. I think currently the oldest apprentice I've got is 53. So we have a lot of career changing. An apprenticeship is a perfect way of doing that and getting a really great job to move forward. And we also have school leavers. We have students coming out of A-levels, all sorts of things. So absolutely not just for 16-year-olds. You know, a good chunk are school leavers, but we've got a good number of adult learners on apprenticeships as well. So yeah.
Just seen another question about submitting application forms. So yeah, if you are looking at applying or got onto the website to make the application form, please send it into the apprentice or marketing email address. So the marketing email address is popping at the bottom here. The apprenticeships one is simply apprenticeships@sparsholt.ac.uk. If you're on our website, if you click the apply now button, you should then just be able to scroll down and then it says apprenticeship application. You click on that, it opens up as the PDF and you should have the information on the website to apply for it. But please send it into either of those two email addresses. That'd be great. There is an online application being developed currently. It should make things a bit easier, but as for now, that's the best way to get applications in as well. There's another question about graphic design and wanting to do an apprenticeship in art and graphic design. Unfortunately, at Andover campus, though we do a lot of apprenticeships focusing on
I think James might have frozen there on his video, unfortunately. So James is saying that in Andover, we do art and design courses, but unfortunately we don't do the apprenticeship at the moment. There's lots of programs being developed around that as we speak. However, there are apprenticeships in art and design, and you can look them up on a national website, which is called the Institute for Apprenticeships. If you type that into your search engine, Institute for Apprenticeships, you can type into the search button art and design, and it will bring up any apprenticeships that are available in that sector. Welcome back, James. Well, I was just saying, I think you might have
finished off my bit. Yeah, cool. I know what happened there. Thank you.
So yeah, we kind of covered the art and design one. And there's a lot of questions about transferring from courses and things. So I think there may be students currently on full-time courses that might be considering transferring to an apprenticeship. That is absolutely a possibility. We do have individuals in year that start a full-time course, manage then to find a job and want to transfer to the apprenticeship. There is quite a lot of that in agriculture. There is a little bit of that in animal management, a little bit of that in countryside working. So there is an opportunity to progress following achieving the first year, or even partway through the first year. It's right learner, right course. And if you're in a position to have an apprenticeship and you've got a job lined up, that is absolutely fine. We can support that transition, whether that be they're enrolled at another college or at our college, it doesn't matter. We can potentially support that transfer.
Some more questions that have come in that said, is it all work experience based or is there an exam element? So that will depend on the apprenticeship, but most of them now do have an exam attached to them. The exam is quite straightforward though. It is a online multiple choice. These are for the ones based at Sparsholt, but majority across the board is going to be very specific on what apprenticeship you're looking for. But some will have a multiple choice exam attached to them. Some will have other assessments as well. So that's everything that we're talking about at the interview point. But whatever apprenticeship you're interested in, you can read more about it on the Sparsholt and Andover websites. They'll give full course information there and the assessments you're expected to do. Obviously, you are working full-time in the industry. You're coming to college on a part-time basis, typically 1 day a week. And then in terms of your final exams, they are different for what apprenticeship it is you're doing. But most of them do tend to have an exam attached to it in some way, shape, or form. And in some cases, it can be as straightforward as having a multiple choice questionnaire as the exam. But do take a look on the website to see which area it is you're interested in, and hopefully it should give some more information on that, or drop us a line if you want to find out more.
I tend to use the analogy of a driving test. So most apprenticeships have an exam like that. So you'll have like a multiple choice online test, and then you'll have a practical, demonstration with a professional discussion. So being asked questions. So there's different elements, as James just described, in terms of different apprenticeships, but they all do have some form of endpoint assessment exam at the end. And there's one that I think the only other question we've got here that possibly hasn't been answered. It's does an apprenticeship work in parallel with their current education at GCSE or A level, or is it an alternative option? It's essentially an alternative option. So you can choose a full-time course, you can choose an apprenticeship, or you can choose A levels, or now the new T levels. So there's lots of different options available, but essentially the apprenticeship is the hands-on practical. You're employed as any other employee within that business, albeit a trainee, and you're doing the apprenticeship course at college part-time, and the remaining of the time you're in the workplace working. Whereas full-time or T level is the reverse. So you're doing more of a full-time study program at the college, and you'll probably be out on work experience 1 day a week or for a couple of weeks per term. And then A level is obviously completely college delivery, essentially. So yeah, it's an option. You can't do two of those. It's one or none, unfortunately. Yeah.
Just seen another question pop in saying that if their son has an interview in March, would he need an employer before this interview, or would he have until September to start for this? So yeah, you're right. He will have until September to secure an employer. So if they've applied early enough and we are interviewing around the March time onwards, then that's basically everything we discussed in the interview. If we're happy to offer them a place, if you've done well on your assessments, or we predicted GCSEs are good, we can obviously offer you a place in the course subject to GCSEs, but also subject to the fact of finding and securing a full-time placement as well. So it's best to start researching though. Like I say, if you're definitely interested in a specific area, in a specific apprenticeship, and you want to go into that industry and start that job role, then great. Start getting the word out there that you're looking for it, and start doing your own research. And hopefully you can come to the interview with what they've already done and what research they've covered. And obviously we're there to help. If not, to say, have you contacted these guys, or we've worked with this employer that's not too far from you. Hopefully be able to match up within that side of it. Great to hear that he's applied at quite a few places, and hopefully we'll be able to sort out a placement if they are still seeking it by the time the course starts in September.
Yeah, and we may well know of those places that somebody's applied to, and then we might be able to have that conversation with the employer as well. So, and the interview is all about us understanding, that person as an individual, what their grades are looking like, where they live, where they can get to, transport options, all of those things to be able to support that transition into work. And I think that's the important thing, is actually that, the employer has to be near to home if you're a school leaver, because obviously you won't have access to driving and things like that. So you can get to college on a college bus. We have lots of buses that go around sort of 9 different counties. But it's essential that you're close to your place of work as opposed to college, because you've got to get there more often. So that's really important. And so that's the questions for now. So what I thought I'd do is we'll just play our final video that we wanted to do today, because we've done the agenda in a bit of a different order because we've had lots of questions, which is amazing. That's fine. So what we'll do is play our final video, which is a current employer of ours that was once an apprentice, now has opened his own shop, which is amazing. And then we'll just give you 3 more minutes to submit any more questions that you might have, and then we'll come to an end, I think. So, so we'll play that. We'll play that video now.
I'm Jake, owner of Chambers of Hamble, in Hamble, and a previous Sparsholt College student. I know the benefits of being an apprentice because I was one. I was one at Sparsholt College. I did my butchery apprenticeship, and the skills that they teach you, even though it was only 1 day a week, it was ideal for me. It was a perfect balance. You learnt your basic crucial skills at the college, nice skills, food hygiene, and it allows you to take those skills into your workplace. So for me, I know I've been there, I've done it, I've seen what they offer you, and I've seen how it allows you to grow when you're in your workplace. So for me, I would definitely go. It was a great balance for me knowing those bits and then going straight into the workplace and being able to use those skills and adapt to the butchery skills further. Because of the skills that they were giving me, I was able to take those into my workplace and now have my own place, which is really nice for me. A lot of the people locally, they like getting to know us in here. Tommy's a great character for that. They like to get to know him, see what's going on, and it's nice to have another person who likes to get on with stuff. Having someone that's enthusiastic, interested to learn, they're the two biggest things that you're looking for. And to top it all off, to have someone who's trustworthy, reliable, it's the whole parcel for me. If another business was thinking about taking on an apprentice, I'd definitely recommend it. When they're a blank slate, you can mould them to how you want it to be. You can always have people that know what they're doing or they think they know what they're doing. Apprentices, you can start from square one, get them in the right ways early for you. Every business is different, and that's why the apprentices are so good. Where they don't really know what they want to do at that time or they don't know how to do things, you can always show them your way of it. For me, they're the way forward. I couldn't recommend them enough.
So yeah, so that was the video, so thank you for that. We haven't had any further questions come in. So what I'd like to say for those of you that are still on, if you have any further questions, please feel free to send them into marketing@sparsholt.ac.uk. Or alternatively, our apprenticeship email address, which is apprenticeships@sparsholt.ac.uk. Many of our vacancies are live on our website, like we mentioned previously, and we put a lot of them out on our social media channels as well. So look out for those. But thank you so much for joining us today. I think, is there another message just come in?
Yeah, it's one. I think from the similar. I think if it's from Sam, it's from the part of the question we answered earlier. So it mentions that, is it all work experience based or is there an exam element or does it depend on the employer? So it depends on the apprenticeship you're interested in. If you want to quickly ping what that is, Sam, we can hopefully answer it for you now. But it depends on that apprenticeship that you're doing. If it is sometimes it depends on, there is typically an exam at the end of it or at some point, but all apprenticeships have various assessments that they do have to cover throughout the entirety of the apprenticeship. So typically they do them at the end, but it does very much depend on that specific apprenticeship, what subject you're studying, what course you're studying, on what the exam side of it is. So when you mentioned about the employer aspect, we do, there is an exam. There is like a multiple choice exam as part of it, and then there's also a practical assessment within the workplace as well, where we work with an exam board to have one of their assessors go out and observe them and do the practical observation within the workplace as well. Just mentioned about the extra standard rate of pay. So there isn't necessarily a standard rate of pay. We ask that all apprentices are paid the national minimum wage. Obviously, every employer would have to do that as a bare minimum. That's currently £5.28 an hour, going up to £6.40 an hour in April. And the majority of our apprentices and our employers that we work with, they don't pay that. They tend to pay a little bit more, or they tend to at least offer increments throughout your time on the program, and offer a sort of a bonus or scheme or an increment dependent on as you progress and as you advance. If you are aged over the age of 19, they can pay you as little as that as the apprentice minimum wage to start off with, but once you've been on program for a year, they do have to pay you the national minimum wage for your age. So even if you're a mature student, which is anyone over the age of 19, depending on what age category you fall in, then you will be paid that minimum wage when you start as well. and cover that side of it also. So there isn't necessarily a standard rate of pay. There is an apprentice minimum wage. You can take a look on the Gov website what the information is on that. But most of our employers tend to pay above that and do exceed that. So keep that in mind.
Okay, so I think that's it. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining and for all of your questions. That's been brilliant. I hope the session's been informative. And any further questions that you have about apprenticeships or open days or the standards that we deliver, or just general questions really of support or additional support, please feel free to get in touch via the 2 email addresses, or give us a call on the direct number into the college for us. So thank you so much. Have a good evening and rest of your week. Many thanks. Bye-bye.